Hello and welcome to Talk Time. My guest today is Mr. R.S.T. Sai, Chairman and Managing Director of the Public Sector National Hydropower Corporation. Mr. Sai, welcome to my show.
Thank you.
The National Hydropower Corporation at this point in time engaged in building India's largest hydropower plant, and that is at Lower Subansiri. It is the 2000 megawatt hydropower plant, and it was supposed to have been commissioned this year, but unfortunately because of several issues, the project has been delayed. You started work in 2005. It is almost 10 years. Is it frustrating, Mr. Sai, that you are building India's largest power plant and it is not getting commissioned?
Yeah, in a sense, the work has been interrupted for almost 3 years by now, and it is indeed frustrating. And the country is losing immensely by this delay. Apart from the costs, the opportunity loss in terms of the economic gains is being lost. That is irretrievable.
Before I ask you to address the apprehensions in the minds of the people, Mr. Sai, the project cost was about 6,200 crore when you started in 2005. Now it has escalated to about 12,000 crores. That is, it has almost doubled. Work has been on a total halt or standstill since December 2011. There has been absolutely no work. NHPC has 18 hydel projects all over the country. Have you faced this kind of a situation before? What has been your experience?
Well, in NHPC, that kind of prolonged interruption was suffered in the case of Dulasthi project. It is in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. There was a foreign contractor, and
but the reasons were completely different.
The reasons were the foreign contractor on the pretext that terrorism is on the rise and it is not safe for their nationals. So he ran away and abandoned the project.
So that is a different issue altogether. But here, the Lower Subansiri Dam on the border between Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, Gerukamukh, basically it has been stalled because of three major concerns. One is the concern about the design of the dam. Second is the impact on the downstream of the river Brahmaputra. And the third is the environment. These are the three issues, in short, which are to be addressed. What has been the issue according to you? I mean, I understand that these are the three issues.
Yeah, you are right. These three concerns have been voiced by civil society active groups, and they have been looked into by different expert groups within the government, and they have suggested certain additional measures to instill extra confidence in the groups which have raised these issues. Not that the original concept of the project and its design was deficient.
I have to ask you these questions in a very simple term for the interest of my viewers, Mr. Sai. You see, the dam was originally about 237 meters high, and later on advice or because of the concerns, it has been brought down to 116 meter. That is one aspect. And second aspect, about a year ago, in October 2013, the Government of India set up something called the Dam Design Review Panel, and it has also given suggestions and asked NHPC to actually consider some of their recommendations. What is the status today? What are the changes that has come about after this review panel suggestions?
First of all, we have agreed to extend the upstream cutoff wall into both the embankments on the upstream side. So that is one elongated cutoff wall. The second thing is on the downstream also, we are installing another cutoff wall. So the upstream cutoff wall is extended into the full stretch from one bank to another bank, and it drives even into the banks also. So that would ensure that there is no scope for migration of the mass which is forming part of the dam foundation. One of the concern was the dam foundation is porous, and when water is stored, the material in the dam foundation will flow downstream. Now, once you have a cutoff wall upstream and another on the downstream, there is no scope for it to flow. So it is packed and retained there. This is one measure. The other measure is for the dam width. That is, when you count it from upstream to the downstream in the longitudinal direction of the river, that distance has been elongated. So that will increase the base width of the dam.
Now, one of the arguments being put forward by the various anti-dam agitation groups is that the area is a seismic zone and therefore the design has to be perfect, or they are saying that the particular design is faulty. Now, my question to you, Mr. Sai, is that you say the NHPC and the other experts say that that is not the case. Of course, there are different opinions also, but there are several opinions which say that the dam design is absolutely not faulty.
As an institution, Central Water Commission, for example, they are involved in technical clearance, and they have right from the times of Bhakra Dam, Tehri Dam, and a host of other dams, they were involved. Bhakra is also in Himalayas. Tehri is also in Himalayas. I am not speaking of the very, very complicated dams built in the peninsular region, which has a different geology, but Himalayan geology is similar. So they have been involved. Their knowledge, if at all there is some knowledge, it is the knowledge is there in the Central Water Commission, which is the apex technical authority in this country insofar as the river valley projects are concerned.
On that note, we shall go for a short break now, but stay on. When I come back, I shall continue my conversation with Mr. R.S.T. Sai, Chairman and Managing Director of the National Hydropower Corporation. Welcome back. I'm in conversation with Mr. R.S.T. Sai, Chairman and Managing Director of the National Hydropower Corporation. Mr. Sai, you see, I mean, there has been opposition. Several leading organizations in the state, Krishak Mukti Sangram Samiti, Assam Jatiyatwadi Yuva Chhatra Parishad, All Assam Students Union and others have been agitating. They have been opposing the lower Subansiri Dam, despite efforts by the NHPC, the state government, as well as the central government to some extent to allay the apprehensions. Why are they agitating according to you? Do you think it is largely because of lack of awareness about the real issues?
I suppose so. The issues having the engineering and technical angle, they can be understood by people who have this kind of training. But anybody with some amount of general background in any field can't appreciate and understand these dimensions.
Absolutely.
So they may get swayed by prejudices.
My specific question to you, as the head of the National Hydropower Corporation, you are the key man. Rest are all players from outside who will support and assist you, like the state government as well as the center. My question to you, Mr. Sai, is the NHPC either directly or along with the center and the state government ready to have a direct dialogue with the agitating groups themselves, not just with experts, agitating groups, and try to explain to them things? Have you already done so? Are you planning to do that in the near future?
See, in the past, several such exercises were facilitated by the good offices of the state government. Yeah. In Guwahati itself, I think 6-7 months back, we had one such discussion with a large group. And the efforts are on, and I think maybe in a month's time, one such more initiative will be undertaken.
That will be, of course, by the new Union Power Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, who has said that he will directly talk to the stakeholders. But is the NHPC willing to engage directly with the agitating groups to explain to them things in a better perspective?
Definitely. The NHPC is very open to share any information which is of interest to anybody, because there is total transparency in the way of working of NHPC. So we are prepared to share any information. We are prepared to have a dialogue with anyone who is interested to come forward.
Now, one of the voices which has been coming from the agitating groups that, okay, NHPC has made their point of view, the expert committee appointed by the Assam government has made their point of view, and various other expert panels have made their point of view. But now, if the agitating groups bring a set of independent experts from wherever in the world, is the NHPC willing to sit down together with those people, yourself, and the agitating groups and try to take things forward from here?
We are ready. We are ready to share with anyone. With anyone who is interested to know in public interest, we are ready to share information.
I think that's a very positive assurance, Mr. Sai. That's a very positive assurance which you are giving.
In fact, we are going to keep in public domain a lot of the technical information in a special dedicated website for the Subansiri. We will also have a part of it in Assamese. It's a bilingual, it's going to be bilingual.
You see, Mr. Sai, when Brahmaputra board first conceived a project sometime in the 2000 or so, they thought that they will make it into a flood control project. Later, when NHPC came into the picture sometime in 2002, you conceived it as a flood hydroelectric project as well as a flood moderation project. What exactly is it going to be today when it is completed?
Yeah, the top 15-meter portion of the reservoir, that would be reserved for
storage of water
for flood moderation purpose. What it means is, throughout the monsoon, that space will be kept vacant till close of the monsoon. Only in the fag end, that space will be filled, so that water will be utilized during the off-monsoon period in a phased manner.
So since the water is going out, any case, better to convert it into power. That's it.
Yeah, see, that part of it would be used, definitely. So whatever water is perennially flowing into the river, plus this additional storage will be used.
So at the end of the day, when the project is completed, you think it is going to reduce flooding in Assam, in the Brahmaputra Valley?
Yes, it will reduce flooding statistically to the extent of 5,000 cumecs for a period of 24 hours. It can absorb that capacity of 15 meters. It will absorb a inflow of 5,000 cumecs for 24 hours.
Is it large? Is it medium? Is it small? What is it? That 5,000 cumecs.
It is a substantial relief.
Substantial
relief to the downstream area.
Absolutely. Substantial relief if the project comes about as far as flooding in the Brahmaputra Valley is concerned. On that note, we shall go for another short break, but stay on. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm still in conversation with Mr. R.S.T. Sai, Chairman and Managing Director of the National Hydropower Corporation. Mr. Sai, you see, you are also heading the Tehri hydroelectric project. My question to you, Tehri, when the project was being constructed, about 50,000 people had to be displaced. The Tehri town itself came underwater, and now there is a new township. And if you talk about Upper Krishna hydroelectric project, there were about 2 lakh people were displaced. But in this case, in the Lower Subansiri project, if I am not wrong, only about 70 or 75 families have been affected. And NHPC has already paid a compensation of about nearly 80 crores to these people.
True.
So how easy or difficult these figures make as far as the Lower Subansiri project is concerned?
You see, one would expect very smooth implementation of Subansiri project when you contrast it with the projects that you have mentioned, the complications involved there. Here there is zero displacement. The 77 odd families which have been affected, they have not undergone any displacement. They continue to stay where they have been staying traditionally. Their home is not affected. A part of their cultivable land has gone under submergence. For that we have given handsome compensation and they are happy. The project affected person's side, there is absolutely no issues, and in Assam there is nobody affected. The problems and the confusion is all about the so-called worries that were attributed to the people living on the downstream. Now, the most important benefit for the downstream is the flood moderation. This is not, I don't think it has been understood properly by the people who are intended to be the main beneficiaries of this project. Of course, apart from that, out of the 2000 megawatt, 500 megawatt is reserved for Assam.
533 megawatts.
533 megawatt. So that would mean there is no power cut in Assam. So why these benefits are not being appreciated by the people who are spreading this confusion is really perplexing.
You see, Mr. Sai, there is also an apprehension that there will be fluctuation in the water level once the dam is commissioned, because there is a feeling that sometimes the water level will go up or sometimes it will go down depending on the release of the water. So that flow is going to be affected and the people are not going to be aware of what is to happen. So how genuine are these apprehensions about the flow?
See, when we run all the machines in one go in peaking period, the quantum of discharge will be more. So that is a genuine concern. How it is moderated, that also let me explain. Initially, we thought we will run this power station only as a peaking station. That means during peaking period there will be water discharge, and the rest of the time the minimum environment flow of only 6 cumecs would be let out of the river. But after realizing the genuineness of the concern expressed by the downstream community, we have changed our thinking and we have committed that the plant, one unit of the power station will be run round the clock. It will assure a minimum flow of at least 250 cumecs round the clock as
so basically
the minimum.
A controlled flow.
A controlled flow. See, the natural minimum environment flow that was noticed sometime in 1979 was only 188 cumecs. As compared to that, a much higher discharge of 250 cumecs would be assured round the clock in the river. So that would be beneficial to the downstream aquatic ecology.
Now you have the project cost has escalated to 12,000 crore. There are various newspaper reports which say that a loss per day is about 10 crore. But my question to you is that why is it that the villagers in and around Lower Subansiri, what is their response to this project? We know about the opposition to the dam, but what about the villagers who are living close to the project site?
See, once we have announced the readiness of NHPC to construct embankments up to a distance of 30 km downstream of the dam, that has substantially addressed the concerns of the people, particularly the villagers in the downstream area. I think the message has been received very well and they are quite happy about it. We propose to involve the people, the village level committees, etc., in the planning and also in the monitoring of the execution of this embankment protection works.
Do you also have a special project in mind, maybe implemented at a later stage after your actual project, hydroelectric project gets commissioned? Do you have some kind of a plan for the development area and the people who are living close to the project site?
Yes, we have, apart from the outlay on the construction, we have about 350 crore outlay
for what?
Announced for the development in the downstream area.
When we talk about the environmental impact, I understand that NHPC has already paid about rupees 100 crores to the government of Arunachal Pradesh as well as Assam for what you call compensatory afforestation. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is true. This is all part of the...
But you obviously don't know what the two state governments has done with the money. Obviously, that is not your job.
See, they would be planting trees in the area earmarked.
At the end, Mr. Sai, what is your direct message to the groups and individuals who are opposing the Lower Subansiri Dam?
Well, I would only appeal to everybody, including the people who are opposing, that the project has been envisaged by the union government with full responsibility to the nation. A reckless decision from union government that would harm a part of the Indian Union could never be thought of. If anybody has any concern, NHPC is ready to share all information. If there is a mistake that can be proven, NHPC is prepared to go all over to rectify.
Absolutely. And NHPC at the end of the day is ready for dialogue with any of the stakeholders concerned. That's the assurance you are giving to the people of Assam.
Certainly.
Absolutely, Mr. Sai. Thank you very much for being on my show. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.